Okay, so in this video, we will be looking at your presentation 2. Okay, so let me pull up that presentation. So this is your presentation 2. So let me put that into full screen like that. So again, presentation 2 is quite shorter than presentation 1 and 3. So this has only a review of your presentation 1, so composition and mechanical, compositional and mechanical layers. But it emphasizes this concept that the crust and the upper mantle are stuck together and forms the lithosphere. And because of the density, right, as was stipulated a while back, since the lithosphere is in the topmost layer, so that means it is less dense than the layer below it, which is the asthenosphere. Now, since the lithosphere is solid and and the asthenosphere is partially melted, and the lithosphere has less density, it's lighter compared to the asthenosphere, then it's like a boat floating on top of the seawater, right? And just like that, since the asthenosphere is also fluid-like, if the fluid flows, right, albeit it very slow, but it flows. If the fluid flows, then it's just like the ocean with a current in it. So ocean currents are able to move the boats on that are floating on top of it. Okay, so in the same manner, when the asthenospheric materials move because it's like a fluid, then it drags with it the lithosphere which is floating on top of it. Okay, so that's the main concept that is emphasized here. And then if we go to the plate tectonics itself as a theory, it reiterates that the topmost layer, which is the lithosphere, topmost mechanical layer, so don't get confused. When I say topmost compositional layer, it's the crust. When I say topmost mechanical layer, it's the lithosphere. So it says that the lithosphere's surface is not one whole unbroken surface, but it's actually fragmented into several parts. Okay, and these fragments are what we call tectonic plates. Okay, and then there are 7 of them, 7 major ones, 7 bigger ones. You have North America, you have South America, Eurasia, Africa, Pacific, that makes 5. I mean Australia, that makes 5, Pacific, and then Antarctic. So that makes 7. And then from these 7, you can kind of also recognize 7 minor ones. The Philippine Sea Plate, Indian Plate, Arabian Plate. You have here the Scotia or Scotia Plate. I believe both pronunciations are correct because you have things like Nova Scotia. And then you have Nazca Plate, Cocos, and Caribbean Plate. That's 7. In this map, it includes Juan de Fuca, but most books would only refer to 7 major and 7 minors. Okay. By the way, aside from the major plates and the minor plates, if you zoom in, you can actually also see microplates and even blocks. Blocks are um, segments that is not really closed. So when you say plate, like this African plate, it's a closed segment. It closes on itself. But when you have a block, that means it could be a crack somewhere here, right? But that block is not segmented off from the rest of the segment. Okay, so aside from major, you have minor, you have micro plates, and you have blocks. But again, for the sake of organization, it would be best that we would only think of the major plates and the minor plates. But again, it's good also to know that life is not as simple as that, that there are levels of zoom that are even more um, explicit and more detailed than major and minor plates. Okay, So I think that is it for this video.